Picture a day where the things that you do or you don't won't matter anymore. What a bore it is to live in the shadows of things you could be. But we'll see, you can blur your sight to see what you do or you don't wanna be. When it's all said and done, what will be what matters most? Or not at all, it's your call. Oh damn, and me, 'cause I don't get to know you anymore. I'm still sore from what you did to me. Now there are pictures of the past. Oh, 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 oh. Picture a day where the things that you do or you don't will matter to only you, 'cause it's through you with time to fix what you eschew. Push away all these feelings to a later day. But anyway, happiness is a rare console. There are pictures of the past. Oh,
Then Commander Lockhart, Walters, and Furneaux on the second ship. First ship Sirius, second ship Zeta. Rumble, land on Venus, and return.
5, 3, and 3. Sirius, return. 5, leaving. 1 of 6 must remain. That's 1 now leaving.
Lunar Station 7. This is Command Ship Vega. Command Ship Vega.
Music's not outcome, it's a way to express things from musical. And it's what makes the universe move. It shapes the universe. So I don't think we can do better. I mean, a matter of speech, we can say, yes, I have an idea, or I imagine that, or I have an inspiration, but all that are words. I think the word more accurate is to be available. And when you're available, like a radar, then the message comes.
What the hell are those sounds? Well, that's all that. Anyways, everybody's interested in helping this poor sucker out. You can donate over at just look up ORD on Cash App and PayPal. PayPal, of course, but PayPal's not all capital letters. And it's another test. This time around, I got allegedly it's live on Rumble or just look up old religion dystopia. Then allegedly supposed to be on BitChute. So trying to get off the JEW tube. I'm on YouTube as well, but nothing's happening there. So anyways, what do we do? We waste our time. I don't know. For some reason, if you guys know anything about going live on BitChute, does it take a while for the process before, or do the lives even download? I don't even know. I don't know, man. You think I would know? I've been doing this for fucking ever. I've been doing this since 2012, but I've just been taking lots of breaks in between. You know, I got my channel, YouTube channel, taken down January 6th of 2021. I woke up around 5 in the morning to check my channel, and it was gone, and then along with hundreds of other small channels. Great stuff, huh? Doesn't like censorship. I don't know, this fringe knowledge for beginners. I don't know. This is Montauk. I just wonder if it's worth reading. Do some reading, and I have no idea what to expect from this. Take some readings and then play some music, and it just published a couple years ago. This book is dedicated to my 2 younger brothers and sister. Nice. I like that. It's a nice combination. I grew up, there's 3 brothers and a sister. Unfortunately for us, we had JEW doctors, and my parents didn't know how much of hatred they had towards, plain old white people. And they did a lot of damage to us. I'm going to tell you something about the jab. It is specifically designed to take out us people from Anglo-Saxon descent and Germanic descent. Basics, etheric and astral bodies. It's chapter 1, consciousness, the nature of dreams and incarnation and reincarnation. I know, it's not what you were expecting, but what the hell? Waking up, gathering, contemplating, and meditating at a game called Life, Free Will, and Destiny. Mind over matter, eternal effects of thoughts and feelings, and intending and requesting the reality feedback, synchronicity, signs, numbers, karma, cosmology, creation, evolution, growth towards polarization. Everybody, especially if you're on BitChute, you all know about the JQ and the JP, right? So, I mean, sometimes it's good to think about something else besides the enemy that apparently none of us have a clue what to do about. Higher negative forces, energy farm, and aliens, higher dimensional origins, origins of mankind when civilization restarted. The control system, religion, school, media, food, medical industry, the elite, alien deception, time for a shift, time wars, the plan, hyperdimensional control systems, and manipulated agents, abductions and mind programming, dimensional weather and cyclical influences, emotional balance, the battle of opposites, negative external resistance, positive external resistance, negative external encouragement, positive external encouragement, and negative internal resistance, positive internal resistance, negative internal encouragement, positive internal encouragement, discerning between similar phenomena, helping others, what can be done, final words, resources, spiritual and metaphysical, alien abductions, negative forces, channel data, esoteric and empowerment index. Forward. The last half of my life, this young man is half my age, has been spent in the active pursuit of truth. You know, so many of us gone down this frickin' path of truth, and I'm shocked if you haven't got to my point and realized that if you don't realize that we live in some form of reincarnation soul trap matrix, which is not mine. It's not an original of mine. You go to Mark and his conscious research, whatever channel. I'm saying it right. Anyways, maybe I should look it up just so I'm just going to give you the wrong. By the way, if you want to hear a lot of really good music and you're not afraid of the 666, that's 666 Mr. Doom. A lot of my music comes from that YouTube channel, and you know, this got everything from death metal to everything in between, and it's got some good stuff. I think I like the music, and most times you can use the stuff too. You know what I mean? So I try to give them credit when credit's due. Yeah, Mark's channel is Forever Conscious Research Channel. That's what it is. And, you know, I don't know what his background is. He looks a little Jewy-ish, but I don't think he is. And something's going on with YouTube. So, one of the things, there's something going on. I know they don't want you using any videos from Rumble. And they got it's the analytics and something going on. It was AI's got it all set up that if you start using like Rumble, which I have nobody there. So if everybody's interested in going to that channel, that's Old Religion Dystopia. And then of course in BitChute is Old Religion Dystopia known versus Belief, which is my old channel that was on YouTube and all that. So I spent a lot of time, you know, exposing the Great Reset and the global eugenics program and warning people about the death jab. And I believe I saved some lives, so I think that's worth it. Never did this for the money. As far as donations, I asked earlier, you know, it's not necessarily that's something I feel like I deserve to get. I'm like just like thousands of all the rest of us. I'm just asking if you can, because it just maybe, you know, I'm a single father dealing with multiple sclerosis that I got from the swine flu jab back in 2009. My family has a long history of being victimized by the death jabs. And in 2009, I had no idea the problem, like so many other people. Most people were extremely ignorant. There's only a few people that knew what was going on as far as the eugenics program when it came to the jab. And but I learned, and so when I figured out what was going on, is one of the things I did definitely in 2020, 2021 is I did everything I possibly could to warn people and showing the connection of the J. Crew and the Jesuits and their man, just read the Jesuit Extreme Oath. And I have a personal experience too about how real that is. They slaughtered my mother with that thing. She ended up, I had to bury her in the first day of spring 2021. And at the time, because what happened was I ended up getting MS. It's a long fucking story, man, dealing with this stuff. A long story. A long story. Well, by the way, behind me is what somebody would call a Wendigo that I filmed last year. That's right. Look at it in the tree. You'll see it. There's an entity there with horns and some of that skull, and you can say it's full of shit. And I don't give a crap because I've had my experiences and I've had my encounters. I don't give a crap if anybody believes me. I don't. Because I don't. I honestly think each person has their own personal destiny and path to take when it comes to some of this high strangeness. In way these entities, these ultra-dimensional or interdimensional beings work is, they show up when the time is right. Most of the time, it's people are tormented and freaked out, and they go to the wrong sources as usual. We all do it, right? We go to all the expert about cryptids and about Bigfoot and Sasquatch or the paranormal or poltergeist, that kind of thing. And unfortunately, the way it's designed, it's each person has their own journey and little story, little script that's been given you. And it's designed to cause a lot of contention and bickering. And so what happens is automatically you share your encounters and experiences, and half the world's not going to believe you right off the bat. And you can't blame them. And before I had my encounters, I wouldn't have believed. And truly, I don't think I'm special or better than anyone else because it happened. It's just, I don't think it's had much control over the fact. I do believe I invited it in my life. Taking a break from the truther movement and very, very disenchanted by the whole damn thing back in 2017, I decided to research the one thing, something that's forbidden, something you're not allowed to do, something if you do, everyone's going to call you an idiot. And I already researched the flat earth already by that point. In 2015, I was one of believe it or not, I was hanging out with guys like Jaron from Jaronism and Glowbusters and that crew, and Mark Sargent and David Weiss and all the other guys. And my conclusion, and that's what that guy, I got driven out of that group because I started asking questions, challenging their ideas. Like, basically, you should come down if you study the heliocentric model, the geocentric model, and the flat Earth model is that you have no idea where you live. Now there might be some people that are, who have been better educated and have better insights, and maybe just people, in the Navy and the Air Force and the governments, and they know for certain that it's a globe. But the truth is, you and I will never go the hundreds or thousands of miles up in the atmosphere and space and look down to see what the fuck this place actually looks like. So, like every other damn fucking thing that's in this godforsaken place, we are dependent on the authority figures and the experts. That's a bad place to be. And so my conclusion was, when I was hanging out with these guys, is that A, no one really knows what they're talking about, and B, and until I see it, I'll believe it. And I think it's quite reasonable. So then that's why, when I share people my stories about my encounters, like the first encounter I had with two things that looked like quote unquote Bigfoot, but didn't act at all like flesh and blood beings when I'm standing next to a Crow Indian medicine man. And if I try to share the story and how it all happened, you're not going to believe me. And it's reasonable that you don't believe me. I think you got to go find out for yourself, and then you're going to have your own godforsaken encounters, and you'll have to just deal with it and the best you can. And most people probably smart enough to keep it to themselves, so I'm too dumb to do that. And I started sharing that stuff, and man, did I get butchered on all sides in that too, just like every other damn cult that's out there, whether it's the cult of Christianity, Judaism, or Mohammedanism, or Hinduism, or there's the religious cults, and then there's a million other cults out there. And what is, we're talking about cryptids or Bigfoot or the Sasquatch, then you got the Hegelian dialectic going on between, it's got to be flesh and blood or it's woo. And when you find out that nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about, and when you tell them the truth of what would happen, you're just like, some people have come in my life to confirm it, and if somebody actually had enough sense to listen to me, not too many, and had their own experiences, because I could show you how to have your own experiences. And then it's going to fuck up your whole worldview. And then what you thought you knew about this world really is twisted and goes a path you didn't want. It's kind of like thinking in this truther movement and come to the truth, and like the whole thing about the JEWSs. And you say, well, I got it all figured out. No, we don't. There's something else. There's a lot of something else there that's behind all that. Honestly, I think that there are just the plantation owners, especially those who are practicing the black arts that come out of Judeo-Christianity and the Abrahamic faith. Just in which they, it's these cabals that are throughout this world, and they work together with sharing their knowledge, whether from the Far East, India, on and on it goes. And it helps them in their with their organized crime syndicates to exploit us. And if you want to work with the spirits, you can, but I wouldn't want to be one of those people that ends up being a worshiper of these things, because you're going to fuck yourself up. And there's another thing to actually just interact with them and call upon them, which I think I will do now. Spirits that surround us all throughout this world. These entities, these things, whatever you are, these things that come in and out of us, you things, those things, they watch over us, protect us, help us in this godforsaken place. Help us to overcome all the negative forces that are influencing our lives. Now, if everybody that hears this, they might have to be prosperous and have a loved one in their life, a beautiful woman or man, and they make a lot of beautiful babies, and we need a lot of help. People, if you understood that the degree of what kind of a prison you're in, you would probably take yourself out. I don't think you'd handle the truth. As bad as you think it is, I guarantee you it's a lot worse than you think. You say, well, who the hell are you? Well, the problem, you see the gray in my beard? I've been around. I've gone through so much bullshit to search for the truth. And if you are someone who's going down that path, you're going to see things, witness things, and experience things you wish you never fucking did. That's the honest to God truth, if there is a God. I think I got to pee. Let's play some more music. I will do this. There was one time I did a show with I may do that again with him, that young man. He's up in Michigan. Hillel Magi. And yeah, this is a badass song and some interesting imagery to go along with it. Let's listen to some more music while I get myself situated. Trying to think of this ought to offend everybody. Psychic Lemon. Anyways, it was a little fucked up. Anyways, that's a good song, I think. Anyways, where was I at in all this rambling? Hey, the people that are over at Rumble. Hey, you guys over there and gals over there, mostly probably guys, and over at BitChute, what's going? The pussies over there at the YouTube. You might want to go over there. Because as time goes on, I'm going to lay down the hammer and shit. I plan on getting banana banned again in the good old frickin' JEW screw tube. Yeah, where's that all this stuff? We'll get to this reading. So yeah, this whole thing. If you want to find out the darker side or the the other side, or the that's what's around us, you're going to have to do your own work, your own research. That means you're going to have to probably get yourself like stuff like a P900 or something equivalent to that, a decent camera. The new cell phones aren't that good anymore as capturing entities and spirits and beings. I tweaked it, I believe, so that you don't capture as many as you normally would. And if you're chasing after a hominid, you're wasting your time. It comes to Bigfoot. Well, you don't have to believe me. You go find out for yourself. Go spend some time in the woods by yourself. Get reconnected to what and who you are. Our ancestors, my ancestors, lives. I'm 100% Anglo-Saxons and Germanic blood. We had shamans and we had priests and elders. We shared the truth. And, of course, the Hellenized Jewish religion that Rome adopted proceeded to wipe out all that. God knows you can't have competition, right? It's real, though. The stuff are out there. You just want to find out. And by the way, I filmed that in Wendigo, and I'm still alive. So all those legends about seeing a Wendigo, it means that you're going to be dead. The other thing is, too, man, it's been a while since I burned one down, and kind of was looking forward to it. But I got the call, so I'm supposed to see a trainer tomorrow in the gym. They took me out with that swine flu jibbity jab 2009, like I said, and it's really screwed up my legs and all that. But the doctors, of course, they want you to go to a physical therapist, but all the physical therapists are worse shape than I am. A bunch of sows and pigs. So you know what? I'm going to go to trainer and say fuck it. Plus, my son is this age, and I'm like missing out on stuff that just is bullshit. He's going to be camping this weekend, and I'm not going to be able to be with him. So the scouts, and then there's another camp out in October, and I can't be with them, and I'm just like, fuck this, man. I'm going to go. I'm figure out what to do. And I want to get an athletic wheelchair, but I'm going to have to wait a couple months and have to pay for myself because, although, disability and all that, they'll have people show up, and they have showed up and they got this great wheelchair, and then they bring it over and it's like $5,000 or more dollars. It's the most worthless piece of crap there ever was. And I just swear to God, we have lost all our integrity and morals. We truly have. It's all about the Benjamins at this point. All right, back to this fringe knowledge. This, what the hell is the name of that? This Fringe knowledge for beginners. Why not? Forward. So this young man says last half of his life, I spent an active pursuit of the truth. In the following pages, I sketch the broadest map of what I have learned in the fewest words possible. I doubt if he'll say anything about the J. Crew. You will not find proof between the covers of this book, but rather ideas and principles that give you the understanding and perspective of proof existing all around and within you. The more you investigate these ideas for yourself, the more intelligently you can judge the accuracy of your map, or my map. There you go, this map. Sounds like where synchronicity has happened here. As I said, I haven't read it yet. For if ignorance is bliss, why seek truth? Because permanent freedom is far more valuable than temporary comfort. And I'd love to meet that person who has permanent freedom. Truth frees you from the manipulation, miscalculation, and misery of the disillusionment that ignorance inevitably brings. And life does that too, I guarantee you. That's the reason most men get my age are a bit grumpy. But when you're young, you're still idealistic and have the hope. You want to know, and no amount of external gratification can satisfy that inner vacuum yearning to be filled with meaning, purpose, and understanding. Society once suffered from ignorant superstition. Today, it suffers from ignorant skepticism. There might be some truth in that statement. When people are confronted with a challenging view, most see only that it differs from their own. And so they dismiss higher truths beyond their recognition as quickly as they would those obvious delusions beneath their thresholds of gullibility. Higher knowledge is therefore fringe knowledge, because those who pursue it have been alienated to the fringes of society. Ain't that the truth? You know, if there's anybody out there and it's listening or won't listen, isn't that the truth? As you pursue the truth, isn't your social circles and just your relating with, as people like to call the normies, becomes more and more intolerable? And you will become the hermit. You will. It's necessary, I guarantee. In the pursuit of the truth and of higher knowledge, you will become the hermit. You will live in your makeshift cave as you search for the truth. And you will learn to be comfortable with this. And isolation is necessary for higher knowledge. The group is poison when it comes to the truth. There's always somebody out there sabotage it. Higher knowledge is therefore fringe knowledge because those who pursue it have been alienated to the fringes of society. These fringe truth seekers follow their heart and open their minds, and having placed more importance on the liberation of their souls than the conventions of society. Treat this book as a working hypothesis and educated guess to be tested by your own experiences, research, and insights. Take what makes sense, leave the rest for other time. And isn't it interesting that that's pretty much how most of us are functioning? And this whole place, this realm that's been designed, a bunch of working hypotheses, educated guesses, but they're still guesses. What kind of a place is this, anyways? For real? Where it's so hard to find any truth. And when you do find it, it does alienate you. It's like archonic forces, beings, something that's around us, doesn't want you really to know the truth. I strongly at this point believe that there are entities and beings around us that are responsible for the suffering and the misery and the pain and tricked us into coming down to this shit show. Our ancestors believe that too. The Cathars, for one, they came from the regions that many of us came from, who challenged Catholicism and Judeo-Christianity and its false narrative. And, you know, that's the reason why there's a Bible in every frickin' hotel room. Isn't there always a Bible there while somebody's cheating with somebody? Isn't it interesting? I can give you a little hint on how to read that book, your audience relevancy and immediacy of the message. Stop and put yourself in it, you understand the book. Collection of books. We start with a simple and obvious. You see through your eyes, hear through your ears, feel through your body, and think through your brain. But you are not your eyes, ears, body, or brain. These are just things you experience the world with. So then, what are you? Remember that anything that can be taken away from you can't be you. Like your clothes or hair, without them, you would be bald naked, but you would still be you. Isn't that interesting? And here's another thing, though, with the avatar that we walk around in this realm in, it is a shitty design. Allegedly with nearly 5,000 genetic flaws. We're susceptible to such things as poison. We're susceptible to so many different things. And we have to wear clothing. Every other creature in this realm doesn't need freaking clothing. Only we need clothing. And it's not just about modesty. Oh, thank God for that, because most of us, and especially as we get older, with our bellies and the sags of flesh and fat, who the fuck wants to see it anyways? You know what I mean? But when you're young and beautiful and fit, it's not so offensive. But even then, why? Why are we butt naked, hairless? Hair more like a pig than anything else. This is the truth. What designed this and put us here? What was its intent? You know, we still ask these questions, and we may read many different alleged ancient books and other people's interpretation or translation of it. But at the end of the day, we still don't have the answer, as much as we like to believe. The only way anybody's going to find out the truth is through suffering, pain, discipline, awareness, and you must find it out. And when you do find it out, you will not be able to prove it to other people. I'm sorry, you can write as many books as you want, do as many tests and apply the scientific method, but at the end of the day, only those who have that desire, they're the ones who will come closest to the truth. But even then, it will be elusive. which says something about the creation, says something about us in the creation, that we are driven for the need to know the truth at all costs at times, for some of us at least. Either that or we will suppress it, numb ourselves through entertainment, drugs, distractions, work, sex, whatever it may be. But the truth is brutal and unforgiving, and most cannot handle it, nor will ever handle it. Now take away your body and brain, and is there anything left? Did you know that people have come back from being dead for a few minutes, remembering all they did while they were gone? Yes, sometimes they recall floating above their own lifeless bodies, seeing and hearing the doctors and nurses working on them, maybe floating away and exploring what's around before being brought back to life. Even without their bodies and brains, they were still alive somehow, aware and experiencing. This shows that they are not their bodies, neither are you. Well, it's something to think about. I don't know if in the end of the day, he's exactly right. Think your body as a character inside a video game, and to interact with the game world, you need to play the game character. Then it has referenced NED, the near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences. And I think I read that book. I can't think of the name of the author right now. But you are not the character. You are merely controlling it from outside the body. Outside the game. Let me say that again. But you are not the character. You are merely controlling it from outside the game. Same thing with your body. To interact with the physical world, you need a physical body. Through the body, your mind existing outside this world can play this game called life. A first-person game where you look through the eyes of the character, which the character makes it seem like you are inside his head, but really you're sitting in front of the computer. Likewise, although you sense yourself inside your physical head, you are actually located far beyond it in another dimension. Could be, absolutely could be. Well, the people over there in YouTuber land, Michael Adams, ORD, say hi, say hello. Once again, we're reading Fringe Knowledge for Beginners by the young man by the last name of Montauk. Kind of like that place there on the east with all those experiments, kind of, but not quite the same as spelling. When your body dies, it is just like dying inside a game. Nothing happens to the real you, since if you remember, you are not your body. The real you, which is essentially your mind or spirit, gets to hang around for a little while, maybe quit the game for now, maybe start a new game as a new character. But in this life, you only get one turn. So it is important to stay alive as long as needed and to keep your health and energy at a good level while having fun with the game. I think that's one of the things we need to do, and that's one of the things that gets black pilling, as I'd like to say. Diesel, my man. How's it going, man? Once again, reading the book Fringe Knowledge for Beginners. It's supposed to be a test. I noticed what it says, but I'm just going to go with it. It turns out that the first live show I did on I gotta do this too, 80 precepts. That would be a real doozy. I imagine might be a problem on uh, YouTube. So we're gonna listen and read that. And he's got a book too. He's got a book out there too that's interesting. Deceived, damned, and defiant. That would make your head spin and make you think. But anyways, it's because it was the wrong place. Turns out that yes, the first test that I did on BitChute did go through, and I think that's 61 views already. And then they got some people over Rumble going. Hey Diesel, do me a favor, man, and go over to my. If you haven't yet, go over to my BitChute channel or my Rumble channel, because as time goes on, I will get bananaed on YouTube. And if you want to follow me, man, that's where I'm going to be down the road. I love Rumble. I'm not too thrilled about. They're not too thrilled about it. Although there's some good channels on it, it's really hard to get any momentum on it. And the person over there, Rumble, if you're still there, hey, there were 4 of you. See, that's the problem. It's like the momentum. It's like there's something wrong. But again, it's run by a JEW. So what can you do about it? You know what I mean? It's rigged. For sure, man. Good, man. Thanks. Says Newt. For sure. And I also am grifting for any donations down the road. So if anybody's interested, pay Cash App or and at least I'm being honest, is grifting. You know what I mean? I just need some help pay for stuff. Single dad. So Cash App or PayPal, at both are ORD3. Couldn't get any more simpler. Go there and $1, $5, $10, whatever the hell you want to give. It's up to you. And if you think it's not worth the shit, then don't give anything at all. That's fine as well. Where are we at in this? So your body dies. We talked about that. When your body dies, is like it is just like dying inside a game. Nothing happens to the real you, since if you remember, you're not your body. The real you, which is essentially your mind or spirit, gets to hang around for a little while and but this Hey, Diesel, you still there? Let me know if I'm on because it like connection went south. It's not one thing; it's another. See what's going on here. BitChute seems to be having problems. This is so annoying. Hey, it's live, man. It's live, man. It's live. Folks over there at Rumble, hey, once again, those who are still sticking it out at BitChute. Diesel, are you gone? Maybe you are gone. Outrageous. Oh, crap, you have to go through. Anyways, it's like a game, man. It's like a game. Some things that happen are scripted, meant to happen from the very beginning. Etheric and astral bodies, unlike the body, your mind is not at all physical. You can't touch or weigh your mind for this non-physical mind to work through the physical body. There needs to be a couple in between. Layers connecting them, and the layers are known as the etheric or astral bodies. They are shaped like your body, but just barely physical enough to influence the body while also being influenced by the mind. Normally, you can't see the etheric or astral body, but with special vision and special instruments, you can detect them. I hate YouTube. I really do, man. God, it's like being in an abusive relationship with some wench. Sugar mama that has no sugar. This etheric body looks like a ghostly, glowing copy of your physical body. I don't know about that one. I'll be honest with you. The things I've seen, I got a suspicion. And you know what my suspicion is? My suspicion is that our spirits look nothing like us. Nothing like us. But I think there's other entities out there that have very similar taxonomy, body shape, the arms, legs, and all that are tricking us. I wouldn't be surprised if many of us look something that we never would imagine. But who knows? The problem is of all the propaganda and all the freaking misinformation and disinformation. How do you figure it out? How do you figure it out? You got to figure it out on your own. I know nobody likes to hear that, and they'll insist that I'm wrong. But how do you know you're right? Because somebody else told you this. How many times have you been freaking told the wrong thing by experts? Countless times, isn't it? More times than you actually were told the truth. It's healthy to have a hefty dose of skepticism, for sure. And I take no offense to those who don't believe what I have to say. As they say, until you walk in another man's shoes. how the fuck you gonna know? Anyways, behaving in an organized way and keeping you alive and healthy, right? Think of the etheric body like the field of a magnet pulling on a bunch of tiny metal pieces, pointing them into an orderly pattern. It does the same thing to the cells in your physical body. Without the etheric, the physical body would eventually fall apart. I don't know about that one. Well, it does actually. This is true. I mean, without the spirit or the soul of a man, right? Once they have that last breath and that spark of life is gone, it's amazing how fast the meat suit deteriorates. Amazing. Some say it's all in the blood, and that just might be the case. It certainly seems that those who are wielding the power in our lives, over our lives, seem to be obsessed with the blood. There's some sick fetish or there's something behind it all. Without the etheric, your physical body would eventually fall apart. People who lose their limbs in accident often continue to feel something there, even though the physical limb is gone. You know, and that's another thing. It's just interesting, like when it comes to reincarnation and having to. Sometimes people come back and they have like strange birthmarks or uh, scar tissue, like in a previous life, something happened to them, like they were shot or fell. And I got these two really weird marks on both legs. And I wonder if there's any kind of association with what eventually happened with my legs outside of the death jab itself. Because there's like a mark here and here, and I've always had like a fear of heights, irrational fear of heights, right? It's like the only thing that I'm afraid of that I could think of besides money grabbing, leeching bitch. That's about the, you know, and there's like, it's almost like a previous life. I fell and broke both my fucking legs. You sure this weird stuff, this one mark, it always like, almost like it opens up occasionally. Yeah, it could be a parasite. I mean, I'm taking the dewormer stuff, but you know, same stuff that people say is good for, so allegedly might help with cancer. And yeah, some say it's worms has something to do with multiple sclerosis. But honestly, I think what happened to me was I was poisoned because I was perfectly fine, the perfect prime of my health, my life, right? The top of my game, a couple hot girlfriends, doing my art and my music, being there for my niece and my parents, a good paying job, and just doing the best a man could do. And just like that, within 2 months of after taking that thing, it was mandatory to take for a job. Interesting enough, the woman doctor, the Caucasian woman, ended up with quote unquote MS as well, who was involved in having us to take it. So that's something to think about, folks. You know, I honestly believe a lot of this stuff is they just throw out names. Oh, it's Lyme disease, it's MS, and all this stuff, and but I think it's pretty much all the same thing. It has something to do with poisoning. And depending on the type of poison and the dosage, you might not be able to reverse it. I know I tried everything. I tried the holistic way and, healthy food, and tried the best to have quote unquote non-GMO food and all that kind of stuff. And in the end, it didn't work for me. I looked good. That's for sure. When I was on that vegetarian or vegan slash diet, or even you know, the, the carnivore diet, try different things. So I think the paleo diet was the best. And I was strict with the paleo diet with no bread and milk or minimal dairy type things. Which is ironic because our ancestors fed upon that, and there's plenty of research of our ancestors in different parts of Europe who were not contaminated by modern food. Were still eating, healthy freaking butter and drinking milk from the cow that was grass fed. They had nice teeth and beautiful builds, and you know, do you think European women are good looking now? Just imagine how good looking they were freaking 3 generations ago. Now, I might be biased because of my, because I'm, you know, Anglo-Saxon descent, a Germanic descent, and so I have attraction to beautiful white women. But it seems that universally, men, regardless of what color or what race, all have an attraction towards those European women. Isn't that interesting? Far more than any other group of women. And let's be honest, man, those Norwegian babes are babes, right? So just think of what we could have been, what our ancestors were. One of the things that I do believe is they lied to us too about a lot of our ancestors. Said they didn't live as long, or they did shorter and all that kind of crap. I think that there were certain groups of people that are that way, but predominantly when it came to the Europeans, they always were larger than most, stronger than most, smarter than most. Sounds racist, doesn't it? But it's not being racist. Who cares if it's racist? The truth is the truth. Who are the great builders? The great minds? The people that really achieve things authentically, not hijacking them and stealing them, like the ones with the little hats. That is something to think about. Something truly to think about, and something for all of us to be proud of, not to be ashamed of. So anyways, tomorrow I'm going to get this gym and have a trainer. So it's like between 8 and 10 a.m. I'm going to be there. So just trying to keep myself up, because usually I end up falling asleep about this time. Then wake up at 3 in the morning. So then hopefully take my son there too. God knows I'm not going to the JCC, that's for sure. When I say God, that's just figurative speaking. So I can't be a trader like that. Anyways, I need to find a gym where there's not the blaring freaking TV everywhere. And guarantee when it comes to like the JCC, it's like total mind control. And you can figure out what the J stands for. And it's nothing but freaking CNN on all day long. Fuck. It's just like you go in there, it's like going to a doctor's office, and fortunately the doctors I have don't play the damn television, but man, there's a lot of doctors' offices out there where they're blaring that fucking television. God, but it's 2024, I can't believe that people tolerate any of that shit. Etheric bodies, like the fields of magnets, pulling a bunch of tiny metal pieces, and pulling them into an orderly pattern. It could be. I have filmed stuff like this at night. They talk about this ectoplasm and ectomist and these things that slowly form into certain shapes. They usually don't look like humans. They look like other things. You use your imagination. Um, and it's interesting because when I film, it's like they'll be there and they'll be gone. I'll be filming stuff. There's nothing there. That I'm not smoking. There's no mist or humidity in the air. And this is a good time to actually go out and film it in the evening. And a good time to film is between 7 and 8 p.m. for some reason. About the time it gets dusk or dark, and around that time period, and it will get better too once the insects. So like October, mid-October, November, and December would be an excellent time period to film quote unquote orbs, ectoplasm, and that kind of stuff. And you'll be shocked what you film. The important thing in doing that, though, when you're filming this stuff, is don't use a camcorder and take stills. And you need a flash to brighten the area up. Now you have to learn how to distinguish between dust particles, precipitation, and the other stuff, the unexplainable stuff. But you can figure it out. And you will figure it out, and there will be naysayers, and there will be those who say, "Oh yeah," and will believe. And honestly, the only person that matters is you and your experience, and those who have also put the time into it, who put the boots on the ground, the field research, and done it themselves. Right? Those are the only people that matter. And in a day, there's an awful lot of variables, and you got to weed it through it all and work through it all, type of thing. So, but if you're willing to do that, you'll be shocked what you might discover and find. And here's another thing: stop following what everybody else is doing on the internet and the experts. Do it on your own terms. Do things opposite of what people are doing. For me, when I started filming up in the trees and at the edge of the woods, that's when I just started getting some profound results. The trees in this creation are like the neurons of this place, if you can think of it that way. And the roots are what connect the underworld with the middle world, which is where you and I walk upon, and the upper world is the atmosphere and the branches that reach into it. And they create a static electricity, a vortex of energy, and you can read it. You can take testings and readings. I mean, it is true. You can run a light off of a tree. You can. It's not just a parlor trick. There are researching scientific teams out there, especially in Italy and other places like that, Europe and in the United States, are figuring out a way to harness electricity or energy from trees, believe it or not. From my experience, the trees are kind of like the escalator that these interdimensional beings use to travel from the underworld, middle world, and upper world. And they use sentient beings or living something with a life force and had energy, just like human beings themselves. We hear about quote unquote possession. And whether you believe in that crap or not, I mean, if you get your mind out of the gutter of religion and start doing your own research, you're going to be shocked at how it's very much happens and more than plausible. This is not a universal thing in the vast majority of these ethereal beings, these astral bodies, these quote unquote spirits, for placeholder and lack of a better word. Come in all shapes and sizes, and some are predaceous and others are just it's kind of like if you think about the biology and ecology, in particular ecology, and the biodiversity that's within the different biomes, right? And you have all sorts of things from microorganisms, all sorts of insects and small critters, and found on it goes, right? And for the most part, most of them are just living their lives and not very interested in you. But there are some that are, some that can be invited to join you in your journey. They're talking about hitchhikers, the hitchhiker experience, which it is real. But that it's something that is borderline supernatural. Supernatural, for lack of a better word. So I know these spirits and supernatural come from religion, but you can call them interdimensional beings or ultradimensional beings, ethereal beings, beings from the astral plane, whatever they may be. Bob Monroe, when he talks about the Lelouch, he says he's convinced, well, he was convinced from his belief in interacting with these ethereal beings from the other side that the reason why we're here is to produce a thing called Lelouch, in which our emotions and our feelings, and the most powerful form of Lelouch is love. Far more powerful than hate or anger or fear. Although they use the hate and anger and fear to distract us, so love can distract us too. Remember, love is an emotion. And apparently these things feast upon that. Some kind of energy is produced. When I say apparently, because, well, it's still, we haven't been able to prove it, but there has to be, there just has to be anything, actually. But if there is an explanation and people ask, why do we go through what we go through? Why is there so much suffering and pain and misery in this world? Especially if there's a God that loves us. And the argument is, of course, well, that's that leads you to God. Well, does it? Far from it. And most people, the suffering and pain leaves them further and further from it. It seems the people that got it, that is reversing what they always say. They say, well, if you had a really good life and everything was going for you, you would forget about God. But in truth, it's the opposite that happens. But people will say otherwise because they parrot things. Remember, we live in a world of inversion. The vast majority of everything that's being told is the opposite of the truth. This is something that can be well established. You can figure it out yourself outside of reading books or just listening to me. Whatever your pastor, priests, most medicine men and women, and definitely politicians, and your boss, and a good chance that your kids and your everybody in your life is pretty much bullshitting and lying. And there's a good chance that you're doing the same damn thing, but you're too honest to admit it. Because one of the things, in order to clear yourself up, is not so much about not drinking coffee or, getting some enema, or you do some detox thing. The most important thing that has to happen, making your amends. Making your amends is far more powerful than anything else. Far more powerful than anything else. And that is where a real man or woman will be found. When they can admit, when they can go to the people that they feel have done wrong or know they've done wrong, and ask for mercy and apologize for the behavior. And of course, this is a principle that's found in AA, right? And the fourth step. very few people ever get past the 4th step because very few people actually make the amends. There are people that spend their whole fucking lives in AA and the cult of not drinking. And the reason they do is because they never finished the job of making their amends. And for many people, that might mean that they end up going to prison, getting the shit kicked out of them. But you got to do it. And if you don't do it, you just come back. And honesty is always the answer to everything. And it's okay to live in the realm of uncertainty. Most people can't handle that because it's a threat to the ego. But it's being honest. When you're an honest person, you can live in the realm of uncertainty and be comfortable and be okay with it. Most of the time, you're still going to ask the question, what kind of place is this? That is on nothing but speculation and guesswork. People parroting each other like a bunch of parrots. But you know what? Yeah, it is what it is. I like doing readings like this. And this book is not very long, so who knows? Maybe we'll do a series on this because, you can read a little bit and talk about it. Actually, I wouldn't mind if we figure out a way to invite some guests along to read it and talk about it and to just have like a discussion. Also, I'll be more than happy to hear anybody's comments. Once you get done criticizing me for whatever you feel is a fault, fair enough game. But then afterwards, what is your understanding and take of the spirit realm, the astral plane, the body? What he says here, same thing, the physical body, whatever you fall apart of the people, limbs of the physical bodies, patterns, well, he talks about the astral body, etherical body, and it almost looks like us, right? But more like in a ghostly glow, a copy of your physical body. Is that true? I mean, I filmed stuff that looks like that on the edge of the cemetery, and it certainly looked like it could be people, or could it be something that's very humanoid-like, but not people? Some parasitic. Are there a lot of souls and spirits that are trapped here for real? For real, not just people saying that it is so because they read a book or somebody else said something or you saw it in a freaking show on the History Channel or whatever. You know what I mean? Do you really know what you're talking about? There's a lot to talk about. Normally, the etheric overlaps the physical body, but during sleep, it may expand and hover above it a little. Interesting. So I've heard. The energy that the etheric body is made of is life force energy. Fresh fruit and vegetables have lots of it because they are alive. Everyone knows that fresh is healthier for you than cooked. Though not everyone knows it's because cooking also removes the etheric life force energy in the food. Of course, when it comes to meat, though, unless you want a shitload of parasites, it's one of the things you got to think about when eating raw meat. You're going to get a shitload of parasites. There's things living in that fresh meat. Supposed fresh meat. Fresh meat is kind of a it's how long is meat actually fresh anyways? How many hours until it's no longer fresh? But then again, we are human beings. So why do we need so much protein? Now I hear a lot about the positives of eating a vegan diet, but I think you have to do it right. When I did it, I ended up losing 3 teeth. So you got to really you have the right resources, you really say that, where do you get your fresh fruits and vegetables, right? When you live in, up north like we do in the northern latitudes, you're limited in that. So that's the reason why we became meat eaters in the first place. And let's be honest, there's a lot of evidence that says that meat eating actually helps them. Your brain is mostly cholesterol, anyways. You need a shitload of cholesterol. Sure, eating fresh fruits is great, but I think vegetables are a bad idea, to be honest with you. A sort of roughage, which which I argue is questionable. I think that fad about eating those salads and all that was like you ever notice people that are obsessed about eating salads are like the worst shape and obese and all that? It really doesn't do any good for it, man. Meat is amazing. The amount of energy. If I just eat meat, if I just say eat maybe just, eggs and maybe bacon or a hamburger, nothing else, I have a shitload of more energy doing that. But once you add bread and stuff like that, and by the way, you could smother the meat and everything, put a big chunk of butter on top of it, Kerrygold or something like that, and just get some grass-fed butter. And this is some great protein and the fats, and our ancestors lived on that. So even less physical than the etheric, but also more vibrant and sophisticated, is the astral body. And it does to the etheric body what the etheric does to the physical. Basically, it influences the shape and behavior of the etheric. What makes the astral body different is that instead of dealing with life force energy, the astral deals with emotional and creative energy. Loosh. Rather than moving the cells of your body, it moves your feelings, the types of feelings. Then it says here, etheric body, subtle energy body, phantom live phenomenon we talked about earlier. And a good place to stop is probably on page 6. That would make the people with little hats happy. To regulate and determine the shape and the color of your astral body. What is that again, or did I miss there? The types of feelings you regularly have determine the shape and color of your astral body. But because the astral is so close to the mind and the way it looks is often more symbolic than anything. For instance, an energy or an angry or wicked person will have an astral body that looks all crooked and scary, even though the physical body looks normal. Interesting. It's going to be a good thing, man. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a fun read. I have to take a little break and listen to Jacques Vallée. They went through the trees.
And we became friends after a while, and they could see that I was really, really interested in what had happened to them, because I could tell it had had a deep impact on them. They hadn't talked about to anybody, because it had, again, affected their life, their beliefs, a number of things. And I asked them to take me to that place among the forest where the thing had landed, one time. And I said, looking around, if it took off in that direction, it would have had hit the trees. And they said, well, it kind of hit the trees. And it went through the trees. Well, okay, so now this isn't some sort of rocket or some sort of helicopter. A helicopter will crash if it hits a tree. I said, why didn't you tell that to the investigator who came here? They said, well, we could tell he would never believe it because he was looking for hardware. He was looking for some sort of super rocket. He was essentially had an engineering mind. We couldn't tell him that it went through the trees. But you asked a question, so we told you. So I think that's what we need to learn, and that is what bothers me with what's happening now in the US is that we're primarily going to look at the military cases. That's what Congress has mandated. The pilots are going to come up, and now, fortunately, they are giving them permission to speak about what they've seen, okay? Without stigma, without being degraded, without losing their position as pilots, If you're a pilot, you don't want to be assigned to an office somewhere. You want to keep flying, right? So you're not going to talk about UFOs, ever, okay? So when that stigma is removed, now you have another situation. But now we have to think about, and again, the Army and the Air Force is great because they have all these instruments that can measure things. They have radar, they have all of that. A farmer in his field doesn't have that. But the farmer knows his field, and he knows nature. He knows the clouds. He knows if it's going to rain tomorrow. He knows how the cows are behaving. That tells him something about what's going on. It tells you about threats. It tells you about all kinds of other things that a pilot would never know about, because a pilot is looking at a few instruments and the sky in front of him, and that's it. Okay, so we should not narrow what I'm afraid of is that everything will be the military observations, because they are so neat, observations from the last 5 years, because we have all this wonderful technology. The farmer doesn't have that technology. So it's going to be discounted, and it should not be discounted. We should go back to the last 50 years, and it's in the database. Now, most of those people have died. I have the privilege of having survived long enough to know all these people, and I can see people making hypotheses about the database that I can tell you are false. I can tell you it did not happen that way because I went there. And I spoke to the people who are operating that radar, or the people who are flying that airplane back in Brazil in 1987, when there were ships, flying ships coming out of the Amazon at night, flying out of the water of the Amazon. Okay, they saw that. They have pictures of that. Okay? You're not going to get that just by doing some superficial research, as good as the research is at Harvard or Princeton or Stanford. We have to go beyond that.
Shelters echo. City stands silent, monuments of rust. Memories fading, swallowed by dust. In the wasteland's gray, before I bleed through a broken dreams, I'll journey clear.
That was New Fallen Empire. That's a badass band. I strongly recommend. If there's one thing you might get out of listening to me, is some good music, in my not so humble opinion. Anyways, let's finish this up. So, to summarize, the mind influences the astral influences the etheric, and the etheric influences the body. In this way, the mind can control the body. Now, if you think negative thoughts all the time, it will affect your astral body and make it full of negative emotions. Well, I guess I'm fucked. Which then influences the etheric by making it darker and weaker, which then over time causes illness in the physical body. I argue that to be the case because everybody gets sick and everybody fucking dies. Therefore, to stay healthy, it is important to not dwell all the time on stress and useless negative thoughts and bad feelings. That is fair enough. That's one of the things about, we focus so much on the men in little hats. It's not really good for you. To be honest with you, you need to give the truth or search quest a break. Think about other things. You know what I mean? But it's very difficult to do that for me. Also, children fall ill more easily than adults. I don't know about that. My son, I don't know. He gets sick once in a while, but it's like the occasional flu and stuff like that. But he's a pretty healthy kid. Of course, I feed him really well too. So, and he spends a lot of time with me, even though his mama gets paid $800 a month. And got the house and everything else. He spends a lot of time with me. I made sure to be close to him. That's one of the things I decided is to, regardless, thanks to the MS in quotes, thanks to the swine flu poke, she decided she didn't want to spend the rest of her life with a dude with MS. I don't blame her, I guess. But one of the things I decided I was going to make sure to be in my son's life. So even though it's been, I probably in the past 3 or 4 years, it's probably have only been in the driveway or close to the driveway 3 or 4 times. In other words, I made sure to live just a block or two away, 2 blocks away from the house, and a different street, and in the daddy place. Live in a dump, but he still wants to hang out here. Of course, one of the reasons he wants to hang out here is he loves his video games, right? This is partly because the physical immune system has not yet been trained to fight disease, partly because of the etheric body is softer and weaker. If you can eat more living food like fruit and vegetables, focus on happy things in life that fill you with gratitude, and stop worrying about what you can't change, you can greatly reduce how often you get sick regardless of your age. That might be true. That might be true. I know some people are pretty healthy and they focus quite a bit on what's going on in the world. I'm enjoying this. I might just keep on doing this, reading this. Then this part 2 is consciousness, the nature of dreams. But at this time, this will be the end of the reading. The people over at BitChute, thank you for joining me. And Rumble, thank you for joining me. And for some reason, nobody is joining me on. Diesel hand, maybe 3 or 4 people joined me over on frickin' YouTube. It's usually a lot more than that. But then again, this is the first time that I've gone live on YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute at the same time. And I do think there's something going on with, I don't know if the analytics or, the the people with little hats over there that control YouTube, they have this hang up about Rumble and BitChute. So I wonder how much that affects things. Anyways, who the hell knows? We'll end it with some cool music because I love cool music. But who to listen to next? How about Godzilla in the Kitchen? That's another good band.